Hey, second graders, this is Mrs. Daniel from Citizenship Academy, and we're going to continue our information from Module 7. Yesterday, we looked at information that was in a table, and today we're going to use that information from the table to make a picture graph, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So, we're in Module 7. So our objective is to draw and label a picture graph to represent data with up to 4 categories. So a picture graph is another way that we can show data. What do you think we use to show data on a picture graph? What do you think we use? We will use our data in the animal classification table, that's the one from yesterday, to create a picture graph. So this is what a picture graph, kind of the setup, looks like. And this is a title. You have to make sure you have a title. So this title is animal classification. That means that all of this information is about animal classification. And then you have to have labels. Labels help the person looking at the graph understand what is in each of these columns. If you didn't have labels, your chart, your graph would be very confusing. So you have to label. So this tells me that all of this information is going to be how many birds. This one tells me this is going to be for mammals, reptiles, and fish. Okay? Now, we will use a quick drawing to represent the animals in our graph. So we're going to use pictures to be our, we're going to use circles to be our picture or our symbol. So we're just going to use a simple circle. You could draw a picture, but circles are much quicker and they represent the data just as easily. So let's see how many birds we have. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 birds. And we have for mammals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 mammals. Notice how each of the circles is in one box. There's not more than one circle in a box, and we didn't skip any of the boxes. Okay, that's important to notice. There's one in each box, one on top of the other, and there's no big spaces in between there. And for reptiles, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for fish, we have 1, 2, 3, 3. Okay, and this down here is called a legend, and that kind of just explains what these circles are. So if you just saw this graph with these circles, it says that each circle stands for one animal. Okay, so each circle stands for one animal. Now we have a question. How many birds, mammals, and reptiles did we count? So in order to figure that out, what do we need to do? How many birds, mammals, and reptiles did we count? If you said we have to add those 3 together, you are correct. So we have 4 birds, we have 8 mammals, and we have 5 reptiles. So 8 plus 4 is 12. 12 plus 5 is 17. Very good. So we have 17 birds, mammals, and reptiles. Which category has the fewest animals? So you can look here and see, oh, fish, because fish is the lowest one. It doesn't go up real high, it's the lowest. So fish has the fewest animals. And which one has the most animals? Mammals, right here. Mammals have the most animals. How many fewer reptiles are there than mammals? So we're going to look at reptiles, and we have 5 reptiles, and we're going to look at the mammals, We have 8 mammals, and we're going to see how many fewer. So we know when it says fewer, we're going to do what? Usually we're going to subtract. So we're going to subtract 8 minus 5 equals, what is it? 3. Very good. So there are 3 fewer reptiles than mammals. How many fewer fish are there than reptiles? So we have 3 fish. And how many reptiles do we have? Look at the reptiles. 5 reptiles. So we're going to go 5 minus 3 equals 2. 2. There are 2 fewer. How many more mammals are there than reptiles? So we're going to look at the mammals. Remember how many we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And how many reptiles are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to subtract 8 minus 5. 8 minus 5 equals 3. You can also, and it's easy to do because they're side by side, but if you see, this is where this one stops, you could draw a little line over here and count how many more are there, and there's 1, 2, 3 more. So that's another way you can do it if you don't want to do the mental math. How many more birds are there than fish? So first we need to look and find the birds. Where is the bird column? Right here. Birds. How many birds are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many fish are there? 1, 2, 3. 4 minus 3 equals 1. Okay, so when completing a picture graph, you need to make sure that you include a title, the labels, and the legend. Okay? Now, let's go back to our picture graph, and I want you to, on the count of 3, I want you to read out loud what is the title of our picture graph on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Animal classification. That's our title. That's the top. That is our title of our picture graph. Now, we need our labels. On the count of 3, I want you to tell me the 4 labels that we have. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, go. If you said bird, mammal, reptile, fish, you are correct. These are our labels. They're labeling each column. Very good. Now, we need a legend. And the legend explains the picture, how much the picture is worth. So, on the count of 3, I want you to read the legend. Okay? Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Read it. Each O, or circle, stands for one animal. Very good. That's the legend. So that's all the important pieces that if you're making your own picture graph, you would include those pieces on your picture graph. Okay. Okay, so this is a picture of graph paper. This is what graph paper looks like. Obviously, it's smaller on the screen, but if you had a piece of graph paper like this, and you are going to use this information to create a picture graph, first you would need a what? They have it labeled here for you. Sometimes they don't have the label there, and you still have to remember what goes here. The title. And you can use the title in the chart here. They gave you the title. They don't always do that, but this time they did. So you have to have a title. Central Park Zoo Animal Classification. That tells anybody who looks at your picture graph what this picture graph is all about. All right, now you also will need a legend. That helps the reader understand what your pictures represent. So each circle equals one animal, okay? All right, so we have our legend. Now what do we need? What are these called on the bottom? These are going to be called our labels. So the first column is labeled bird. If we look at our chart, we have 6 birds. So we're going to have 6 circles. Our next column label is fish. How many fish circles are we going to have? If you said 5, you're a genius. All right. And our next column is mammals. How many mammals? Look at the chart. 11. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now, of course, if you were doing this in person, you would be drawing all of these circles and writing the words. And last, we have reptiles. We have 3 reptiles. Okay? Then, once you have a picture graph, now you can answer questions, okay? And on the side here are some examples of questions. We're not going to go through those because we're running out of time, but I did want to show you kind of how to fill out a picture graph. So once you have all of your information filled out, it's really easy to answer questions and to understand the data. Okay, well, I hope you guys have a fabulous day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.